Hi guys, welcome back to PSD to HTML for designers. I'm Adi, and in this lesson we continue styling our page, and today we'll deal with the main header of the page with the logo and the contact information. So we're going to hide this text to begin with, and then we'll take care of the rest of the elements. Alright, so let's dive into Coda. Let's create another section here. All right. And let's see. We have a header with a class of top header. Okay. So looking at Photoshop, we'll do two things here. First, we'll set the logo to a height of 63 pixels. And of course, we'll center the logo in this box. And by doing that, we notice that we also have a top and a bottom padding around the logo. So let's go ahead and create that right here. So padding 1.5 ems and 0. 1.5 ems is basically 21 pixels because it refers to the base font size. Okay, so next, let's see about the logo. Okay, we'll target the anchor tag inside it since that's the one containing the background image, and we'll say background. Let's do transparent URL images logo PNG. All right, and we'll position it left, center, and no repeat. Okay, and there it is right there. We'll set a height of 63 pixels and a width of 100 pixels to make sure the logo is showing properly. Alright, now we must hide this text, and this is where the class of hide text comes in handy. It's provided by Bootstrap. So let's go back, and I'm going to add the class of hide text to the anchor tag. Okay, so now nothing is showing, and that's because we need to add display block to the anchor tag, because the hide text class does the font height, font size actually 0, and line height 0. So in this case, adding display block will force the anchor tag to take height and width. All right. So the logo, that's done. Let's move on to the contact list. Okay, so let's see it. List top contact info. So let's target that. Sorry. There we go. And the first thing we want to do is float it to the right. As you can see in the PSD, we have the list, and then we have the button. So that means we also have to float the button to the right. So the button currently has the class, the additional class of button top CTA. So let's add that and float it to the right. Now a strange thing will happen, because even though they're both floated to the right, and inside the code, the HTML, the button is placed after the list, it's rendered before the list. So we gotta switch positions like this. It's a weird fact with floating elements, but the solution is to put the element you want to see last first in the code. So in that case, we have the list now and the button. Okay, so let's style that list. So we have a float right, that's good. And let's have a look here. Yeah, this is the list. And as you can see, it has a padding or a top margin that's bigger than the default 21 pixels. So we must add another 21 pixels. So I'm going to say, oh, not here, right here. Margin top 1.5 ems. Okay, so now the list is centered with the logo. So let's make the list elements on the same line. For that, target the list item and float them to the left like that. Next, let's add this little separator between the list items, and it's going to be dotted, and it will have roughly the same color as the text color. So let's do this. Border right. We'll set 1 pixel oops, sorry about this. Border right, 1 pixel dotted, and we'll say text color. Okay, pretty good. And also let's create some space between this border and the elements around it. So I'm gonna say margin right 1.5 ems. Okay, so that pushes the element on the right. And now let's push the element on the left. So I'm gonna say padding right 1.5 ems. Okay, so that spaces the elements evenly. Okay, great. What else? We have a couple of paragraphs here, right? If I'm not mistaken. Let's see, list items, span. No, all right, so we're not using any paragraphs. Okay, that's good. So what else? We have the icons, of course, but we'll do that in the next video. And then we have the button. So let's quickly style this button. So we'll let's create a new section and call it buttons. Okay, and we'll add the button class. We'll start with display inline block. That allows the button to receive paddings, margins, and so on. And next, let's add a padding, a lateral padding of 1 em. Okay, because I want some space on the left and right of the text. Okay, and then we add a gradient. Now it's a very subtle gradient from one shade of the link color to the other. So let's do from link color to a darken link color by about 5%. Okay, next let's do round corners, 3 pixels in my case. Okay, and next we have a couple of new elements. One of them is the surround, and the other is the inner shadow, the inner glow actually that you see on the very top, which creates a highlight. So we can easily do that by using the box shadow property. Okay, so let's start with WebKit box shadow. We'll start with the surround 0, 0, 0. So 0 for X and Y, and for blur, 4 pixels for spread, and the color, lighten border color by about 7%. Okay, and this will create the outer glow. It's not actually glow, it's an outer stroke. Yeah, and the inner highlight, we can do inset 0 for X, 1 pixel for Y, because we need it on the very top. We need a blur, so 2 pixel blur, and the color will be a color that's lighter, much lighter than the link color. So we'll say lighten. Sorry, I already wrote lighten. I meant this link color by about 25%. Okay, you can almost see it, but you'll see it even better after I add a 1 pixel solid border, darken link color by about 5%. Okay, so now we have a color that's darker than the color of the button, and it shows that highlight really, really nice. Okay, so oops, let's do a non-prefixed version. Okay, and that's pretty much it for the colors. Let's give it a height of 3 ems. Okay, that means 42 pixels. A line height of 3 ems, so the text will be aligned on the center. And what else? We have a font weight bold. Okay, it's uppercase as well. So we'll do, what is it? Text transform, uppercase. And what else? Color is white. Okay, and all we have to do now is add hover and active states. So let's do that real quick. We'll say hover. The hover color should be white, and the gradient should be something a little bit lighter than the original one. So I'm gonna do lighten link color by about 5%, and the bottom one should be link color, like that. Okay, and finally an active state. Oops. Okay, active meaning when it's pressed. We'll do the same, color white. The gradient should be reversed, so it should go from lighten link color, from link color to lighten link color, actually, sorry. So we'll reverse these. Okay, so let's see. Okay, there it is, pressed. Okay, and the only thing that remains is to add some shadow on the top instead of a highlight, because the button is pressed. Okay, so we can do that by copying these two. Okay, we'll preserve the outer shadow, and the inner one should be inset 0, 1 pixel. Let's do a 5 pixel blur. And we're going to darken it by about 15%. And there it is. That's the pressed button. Now we just have to move it down a bit. So I'm going to say margin top about 0.75 ems. Okay, so now the button is positioned perfectly. Well, that's about it for this lesson, guys. In the next one, we'll style the icons here on the top. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. I will see you guys very soon. Bye-bye.